Well, turning to South America, where Argentina's new president faces a fight to pull his country out of economic and political chaos. Javier Milei is anti-establishment, pro-life, and strongly supports Israel. And he's warning his countrymen to brace for tough days ahead. CBN's George Thomas has more from Buenos Aires.
On the steps of Argentina's University of Buenos Aires, family and friends met recently to celebrate a milestone in the lives of their loved ones. Felipe, Carla, and dozens of students joining the ranks of Argentina's newly minted law school graduates. But amidst the pomp and circumstance, deep concern among them about the economic and political future of their country.
It is really bad in Argentina economy today.
I'm not optimistic because we are used to always getting the same from politicians. We hope for change, but nothing ever happens.
Argentina's new president, Javier Milei, warning his countrymen this week to brace for drastic spending cuts not seen in a generation.
We are going to begin the reconstruction of Argentina after more than 100 years of decline. And although we are going to have to endure a period of hardness, we are going to succeed. There is no night that has not been defeated by the day.
Milei, a populist outsider often dubbed Argentina's Donald Trump because of his anti-establishment, pro-gun and pro-family stance, shocked the country by winning November's presidential contest.
I think the mixture of him being an outsider with little political experience, but someone with a very rigid ideology, makes him an enigmatic figure when we consider how he will govern a complex country in such a complex situation.
Milei faces a titanic challenge.
The biggest challenge is economic, and it requires significant shock therapy.
South America's second largest economy and once one of the richest countries in the world is now dead broke.
I feel anxious. We're facing a difficult situation and we don't know what's going to happen.
Inflation is at a staggering 140% and expected to reach 200% next year.
Every week prices change and it's very difficult to plan for something or save money. You don't even know if the value of the things is cheap or expensive. It changes all the time, and most of the time your salary doesn't keep up with the inflation.
4 in 10 Argentines live in poverty. And with recession looming, its peso in free fall, and the country drowning in debt, Milei says only radical change can pull his country out from economic abyss. His first order of business this week, slashing Argentina's government from 18 ministries to 9.
The conclusion is that there is no alternative to adjustment, and there is no alternative to shock measures.
Meanwhile, President Milei has made indications that he plans to make his administration one of the most pro-Israel governments in Argentina's history, at a time when other Latin American countries have actually been very critical of Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's strategy against Hamas.
It's very possible that he will move the Argentinian embassy to Jerusalem, symbolic though it is as a gesture. It's a very important one.
Argentina, home to South America's largest Jewish population, is closely watching Israel's war against Hamas. Milei met with Israel's Foreign Minister Eli Cohen a day before his swearing in.
I support Israel's full right to defend itself against those attacks. In addition to that, we've launched the proposal to declare Hamas a terrorist organization.
George Thomas, CBN News, Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Thanks, George. A new style of leadership. Gordon?
Well, look at what they're doing to their currency. They've had to devalue it. And what the rationale for that, to say we want to have our currency be worth 50 cents of what every dollar used to, what every peso used to be. We're gonna take it down to half. What is happening is they're saying our debt is unsustainable and we're going to monetize our debt. So let's just say you take out a $100 loan, you can't pay it back. Wouldn't it be great if overnight you could make that a $50 loan? And that's what they've done. So they've said, we can't pay this, we'll monetize the debt, is the government speak for it. will devalue our currency and all our debt and our previous valuation of currencies. That number isn't going to stay the same. We're just going to pay it back with cheaper pesos in the future, and we're monetizing our debt. The reason they did that, over the past 123 years, they had deficit government spending for 113 years. The debt mountain was just too big to climb. Let's look at the United States of America, where we're over $30 trillion in debt, where there's no way we could pay it back in my lifetime or my children's lifetime. How are we going to solve our debt problem? The good news in a lot of our debt is we actually owe ourselves. It has to do with how the Federal Reserve props up our economy and they expand their balance sheet. So maybe we could forgive that. But are we going to be facing a time, because we continue deficit spending, where we're going to have to devalue the dollar? I hope that day never comes, because what it does, it will hurt every single American. We're getting the glimpses of it now. And this isn't a Democrat thing or a Republican thing. Dick Cheney famously said deficits don't matter when he was vice president of the United States. I disagree strongly. Deficits very much matter. Trump increased the government debt. Biden has done it, but in Biden doing it, an inflationary cycle took off, and he wouldn't claim ownership, that it was all because of deficit spending. We have to get this stuff under control. We have to stop our addiction to deficits, because if we don't, we're going to be just like Argentina.